Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I've got Brad's under this one, so welcome back, Brads.
How you doing, Dan? I'm good,
I,
thank you.
I'm very well, thank you. We got a big game on Saturday against Chelsea, coming off the back off that performance against Burnley. Not a bad way to pick yourselves up after that performance like that.
Yeah, you've got to kind of look at it as like two separate teams, really, because it won't be the same team that plays against Chelsea that played yesterday. We're seeing what we can do away from home against the big guns. Ultimately, we've lost both of them this season. Going back to the end of last season, obviously we started picking up when we played that Liverpool game. So the fact we've been to Anfield and the Emirates and Old Trafford and giving them a good go instead of just getting turned over is a massive step in the right direction, but it kind of doesn't really mean anything until you actually start getting at least some points on the ball in some form. We can't just rely on our home games. We've seen Burnley are not at all a team we can just think are going to be an easy 3 points, even with our full strength side. That wasn't even Burnley's full strength side, so it's easily a game that we may not win even in the league, but that just puts even more pressure on these away games. And I think we can all agree, Man City away is probably a defeat. But I do think Chelsea, even the way they're looking at the moment, they're kind of in a bit of a revival in the way that they're playing. Like they played well against Luton, but they lost to West Ham, so they're a bit all over the place. But it's a much more believable game where you can get some points, and we need to really, based off coming close against the other two away games, and being very unlucky against Man United. Arsenal were the hardest of these first three for sure, and we gave them a good go towards the end as well. And we drew Chelsea last season, but it is a different sort of Chelsea side, so I'm not really sure they can read much into that. But yeah, I just hope we can get something from it. Let's just continue to see an improvement away, but we really need to start seeing a few points to show for it, really.
Mm. Yeah, I could agree more with that. I think our really form is a lot more better this year. We can say, well, not form, performances. Have we praised that? Our
Yeah.
performances have been a lot more better today this season in the two away games that we have. And I think if we keep up that momentum, I think, as you said, we could potentially get something out of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's a different sort of thing altogether. This one compared to Burnley in the cup, it was always potentially going to be a bit of a poor game. Two Premier League sides at the bottom end playing each other in the cup. It was always not going to be the most lively game. It wasn't as strong as an atmosphere as a result. I didn't think. It's never a bad atmosphere at Forest, but it wasn't its normal standards, which isn't really a shock. And both sides didn't play well. It's not like Burnley were just much better, but Burnley were a lot more dangerous going forward than what we were. We didn't really have many clear-cut chances. That Yates one that we missed. Was it Santos or someone skied one over the bar in the first half? I think it
Yeah,
was.
no, yeah, we
Yeah,
can't.
it was Kouyaté, was it? Right, I knew it was a midfielder. Um, but yeah, there's some decent performances yesterday. I thought Aguilera did very well when he came on. He only had 10 minutes. Yates got stuck in as ever. I just think we desperately missed creativity in midfield. Having Kouyaté, Santos, and Yates, they're all more defensive than attacking. I just think we really lacked that spark in terms of attacking sense, and playing three at the back, three in midfield against Burnley in the League Cup at home was a bit negative, really, and just whacking it long all the time, and it was never ever getting to where we wanted it to go or creating anything. It was just one of the worst games I've seen, to be honest, at home in a long time. So just got to try and put it behind us. I'm convinced it will be different in the league. That we'll at least have more of an urge to try and actually change things. I just don't think the desire was there in the same way yesterday because it was the cup, which is frustrating because I would have loved to have had a cup win again. But yeah, we had that last year, I suppose. So we have to just hope the FA Cup is better for us. But yeah, more to the point with Chelsea. We've seen the league. Yes, we've lost 2, won 1, and arguably the game we won, we were the weakest of the 3, which is strange. But yeah, it's been very up and down so far, but still a lot of promise. And who knows, we could have another 6 players before we actually play Chelsea. So yeah, it's going to be very hectic, the transfer window tomorrow, and maybe even tonight. And yeah, Chelsea, I just want to see an improved performance at minimum from the Burnley game, but continue to improve away from home. That's all we can ask for, really.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to ask you about the debutantes last night. How you felt the players? I know it weren't probably the ideal game to see them with, like I wanted to say probably a bit more of a weaker team. How did you feel like they got on?
Yeah, I thought Montiel did well. Sorry?
Now you're going to say Montiel and Santos.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I thought Montiel did well, to be honest. It's quite frequent. I thought at one stage he was playing on the wing, he was playing that high, but it took me a while to realise that Aurier was playing as a centre back, which I think he can do pretty well. And maybe that will allow Montiel to come in and play more games, but I'm not really sure how we plan on lining it up, to be honest. It could be anything with the amount of players coming in. It's mental was saying that, just a few weeks ago we were complaining about lack of activity, and it's been the definition of hectic towards the end of the window, and we've still got like another 6 players to go in potentially, based off reports. So yeah, I thought Montiel did well. I thought Santos grew into the game. He had a bit of a slow start, but he had some good moments. 4 balls, he did quite a few good ones of them. And saying, it must have been a tough game for him to play in. It wasn't even a league game, so it's not fully the normal standard that you have to get used to. He clearly doesn't speak English fully. Completely different kind of culture to what he's used to. So I think under the circumstances, Santos did great. I don't really know how we're going to use him, to be honest, with, like I keep saying, the amount of midfielders that we're looking at. I'm really confused how we're thinking of lining it up. Obviously, Santos can't play at the weekend because he's on loan from Chelsea. There's no other debutants. I mean, Alanga made his first start, didn't he? I kind of felt he struggled at times to get into the game and make an impact. So that's not too worried about that, but he didn't do that well. He's obviously been a very good impact sub so far, Langer. Other than that, it's probably about decent debuts. I think we can say that. It was a tough situation to grade them on, really.
Yeah, definitely. I do agree with that. And touching up past yourself with it being deadline day looming, and we could be up to like 6 signs we could be signing. Do you think the place that we're happening into with, do you think that they are the right areas of the team that we need to strengthen? Or do you think we need to look at anywhere else?
I understand all the links, to be honest, besides the volume of midfielders we're linked with, because I think it's clear we need 2 midfielders, we needed 1 anyway, but then you have to replace Freuler, who's leaving on loan. So I understand getting Dominguez in place of Freuler. Dominguez looks like a great player, and he's just come from where Freuler did, so I've kind of got that thing hovering over us. Can we not sign a midfielder from Italy? He just becomes a ghost again. I'd rather not that happen. But yeah, Dominguez does look good, so he's coming in. That makes sense. And obviously we're wanting Didi as well. But I don't understand the link with... well, no, actually, we've already got Santos in. I don't get the link for Sangaré and Ndidi when we're going after the others, obviously... I'd love Sangaré, it looks fantastic. Same for Ndidi, not quite so much, but he is a good player. I just don't know why we're signing potentially 4 midfielders. I just think it's a bit bizarre. We all know how important Yates and Mangala and Danilo were. I don't want any of them to just get pushed out. It doesn't feel like they deserve that, and I don't really think it's needed. So I'm a bit confused about that one. But I get the link for Tavares. You know, getting in another fullback is a good idea. Definitely Murillo. That's going to be one hell of a champ when that gets going, I'm sure. We need we need that goalkeeper from Benfica as well, that Greek lad that we linked with. That's a big signing we need to make, because we need to sort out the goalkeeper situation fully. And obviously we've been linked with Hudson-Odoi, Michy Batshuayi. You know, will all these happen? I don't think they will all happen. It does appear like Tavares and Murillo are the most likely to happen next. Then the Benfica goalkeeper, Fabrizio Romano, has been tweeting an awful lot about us recently, which is good, to be honest. So it looks like, here we go. Yeah, it looks like those three are the next most likely to come in. But I don't think all of them will. But for me, you know, the one we really need is Murillo, and then Hudson-Odoi, and then the goalkeeper. I think those three are definite. Need a forward, need a midfielder, centre back, goalkeeper, and obviously I didn't even say midfielder. I mean, and like Dominguez, for instance, could come in. But I see the need for all of it. To be honest, I'm just a bit confused by the amount of midfielders we're after. Only, you know, some of it can be paper talk, but it does appear like most of them are legitimate, really. So it's going to be very hectic. And obviously we've not even mentioned Brendan Johnson. Like, you know, I really want him to try and stay. Obviously he played yesterday. I just hope he can stay. You know, like I don't think he's ready for that level. As much as we'll get a lot of money for him, I just think he needs to stay and develop, you know, another season with us. I will be biased in saying that, but I just think it's best for his career as well.
It beat me to saying it, because I think I actually do say a lot what you said about Brennan not ready for that level yet, and I think if you say some first, he does set that game plan that he does need. If he goes to Spurs, he'll just be on the bench a lot. So, but yeah, I think I'm at that stage for Brennan that I want him to stay, but I'm a bit on another side, like, if he goes, best luck to him.
Yeah, absolutely. If he goes, then I wish him all the best, because he deserves that. But I just don't think it's the right time for him to move on. Like, ultimately, I don't think he's even worth 50 million. Like, we want to get as much as possible for him, which is excellent. But what we're demanding, I don't think Brennan's worth that yet. I think he definitely can be. He's only had 1 year in the Premier League. He's gone from League One, Championship, Premier League in 3 seasons. Like, is he really ready for that? It's incredible that he's done so well in all 3 seasons, but you need at least another year in the Premier League before you think about moving to a Big Six club. And all he'd do at Spurs is probably bench warm or get loaned out like 5 times and then just get sold to Ipswich in a few years' time for about 10 million maybe to push. So yeah, I don't want his career just to fall off a cliff basically if he goes to Spurs. You know, stay at Forest, mate.
Yeah, I don't clip that actually. But when we look at it 5 years' time, we both be like, I remember that time when I said Brendan would out on 5 times I go to Ipswich.
I just named the Championship club. Just go to a random Championship club and then just not fulfill his potential. I just don't want that to happen.
Yeah, TFT be exclusive.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I completely agree. I mean, we probably if we've done based on Saturday's game off the Man United game in terms of who's going to be starting on Saturday, if we go off the league team from Man United, I mean, I know there's been said about Daniel Mandrano being injured, especially that midfield. We could potentially see Clarke and Yates playing that central midfield too. I mean, who would you start based on the league team that played against Man U?
My starting 11.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of picks itself at the moment, but I obviously Turner. I get why people are saying don't play 3 at the back, but I do understand keeping to that against Chelsea, so I think I would. So I'd go with Aurier and Aina Niakate, Felipe if he's fit. We desperately need him. And then Bolly, really. Or if Murillo's ready, that's not be incredible to have him available in place of Bolly. Only I think Bolly's been a good player for us so far this season and the whole time he's been with us, really. Midfield, we played 2 midfield against Man United, which I was quite surprised about. It's something we haven't really done under Cooper for quite some time. We played 3 midfield a lot. I just think 3 midfield when you've got 3 at the back's quite defensive, and I kind of want to have that extra forward. So you got to take out a centre back and put in a forward or midfielder. So I'd probably just go with Yates, and I don't think we're going to have Danilo or Mangala. So yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it? We're not going to have Danilo or Mangala potentially, and Santos can't play. So I don't really want to put Cecchiati in at the starting 11. So I do hope we have Dominguez or someone like that available, and then they can play. But because we don't know about them two, I'd probably just say Mangala and I'd say Danilo and Yates, because we don't know about Danilo fully. I don't know. We'll see about that. And then in attack, it obviously be, if he's here, Brennan and Morgan, and then Taiwo. Yeah, that's self-explanatory. And hopefully we've got Hudson-Odoi to come off the bench and score 90th minute winner against his old club. So yeah.
And his debut.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, what's your score prediction for Saturday? I mean, Hudson-Odoi 90th minute winner.
Well, I mean, I hope so. I want him to be here first and foremost.
Yeah.
I've never been saying we're going to treat it separately, but that Burnley game has it's kind of hit everyone's morale a little bit because of how poor it was. So if it wasn't for that, I'd genuinely be saying we could get a draw. Because if we can go to Arsenal and give them a go, if we can go to United and go 2-0 up, and then, get hard done by with the red and particularly the penalty, there's no way that was a penalty for me. The red, I can understand it kind of, but at the same time I think it was a bit harsh. If we can go to United and only really lose because of the Big Six bias that does exist, then I think we can go to Chelsea and get something. I know Chelsea. I don't really know. Man United are all over the place at the moment, and Chelsea. So that they're teams that we can get at. Don't see us getting anything at Man City. They're just too good. But Chelsea, I really think even if they're going to have a much better season, it is definitely a game we can be looking to get at least a point out of. I just don't see us winning at Chelsea, but I think we can get a point again, and I would be delighted with that. Getting a win against Sheffield, a point at Chelsea, having had 2 other great performances away, despite losing, but to very good teams. I don't really think we can complain too much. Besides getting knocked out of the cup in a poor way, that's a good start to the season for the level we're at. And obviously, we've got Burnley again after that, haven't we? Absolutely need to be winning it.
Yeah.
Got to be winning it. Like I say, City's probably a write-off. Brentford, though, I think it's a game we can get something from, but it'll be more difficult. So, yeah, there's lots of pressure on that Burnley League game. I would have preferred to have lost yesterday in the league, to be honest. So, there's big games coming up, but this is why, with the strangely difficult start away, it's unheard of having all the big 6 at the start, minus, obviously Liverpool and Spurs aren't just yet, but Liverpool's not even too far away, so it's weird having it that close together, all back to back, which is frustrating, really. So I'd like to say a draw, but I think more realistically Chelsea would nick it. I don't see us getting battered. If we've gone to United and Arsenal and done that, we can definitely go to Chelsea and do it. There is a chance that will happen in one of these games, probably Man City. So I would like to see us just, again, I'd take another battling performance, but obviously that puts pressure on the home games even more, and then the future away games. But thankfully, after Man City, it's Crystal Palace away, I believe. So that's a game we can definitely be aiming to get 3 points from. And yeah, just to finish off, I just feel like 100% we can win games away this season. Like, we were just so poor last season on the road, minus that Southampton scrappy 1-0 against the worst side in the league. And we've seen the last 6 games away. We have been significantly better on the road, but we just still haven't actually found that win in this run. But we've had some very, very difficult games in that run. But I suppose the fact that we have improved with those kind of games is only a good thing. So, yeah, with technically easier games coming up away after these next 2, we really should be expecting to get a few wins, and we should be able to get a few wins. So, yeah, I just hope that happens, really.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I was just thinking just a minute ago, like, can you imagine it if we went to Arsenal and put in a battling performance, went United, went 2-0 up, then lost 3-4. So we do a win on Saturday.
Absolutely, yeah. To win 2 wins from the first 4 would be fantastic against the opposition we've had to play against. Obviously at home so far, 2 not very well. Sheffield United was good in the first half, then kind of petered out and improved towards the end, and Burnley was just a really poor match, unfortunately. But having said that, I think we're still going to be significantly better at home than away. Only I don't think away is just going to be a scenario where you can just look at it and say, yeah, we're going to lose. Like, because literally towards the end of last season, I thought that about every away game. But it is nice that we can finally now start to say, even against teams like Chelsea, yeah, we could actually get something from this. So it's a step in the right direction, but it's still not what we want.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to say about your socials?
Yeah, everyone come subscribe to Rad's, just a great YouTube channel really about Nottingham Forest. And yeah, just please come and subscribe. Trying to get to 6k, lots of content. You'll enjoy it, I'm sure. And of course, come and subscribe to Talk Forest TV.
Thank you. When Rad said great, he didn't mean great, it's quality.
Well, that's what I mean, yeah. I thought I'd leave that to you, to be honest. Like, that's your job.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on, as per usual.
No problem.
And always a pleasure. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Do hit that subscribe button for both of us. I know to get up to the next milestone, so I'd like to thank you and goodbye.